A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A+ English because it's so much fun. English education for you and everyone, so come along. Learn some grammar, learn a phrase, learn something new every day. Learn the A+ way. Hey, it's time to start the show. Are you ready? Good, 'cause here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A+ English.
Hi everyone, and welcome to A+ English. I'm Pat.
And I'm Elsie.
So Elsie, what are some of your favorite Disney movies?
迪士尼的电影哦，花木兰
Okay.
花木兰 and Tangled 魔法奇缘我也很喜欢。How about yours, Pat?
I like Aladdin. That's one of my favorites. The Jungle Book. One of those
That's
old ones. And also one that's not as big or popular, the Robin Hood movie, where all the characters are animals.
Oh.
Yeah, it's quite an old one. It's just because of it's set in the same city where I'm from. So I like that one a lot. I used to watch that all the time when I was a kid.
What about Peter Pan?
Oh, Peter Pan. I haven't seen that movie in many, many years. Now, it has pirates in.
Right.
And I do like pirates. Peter Pan has one of the most famous pirates of all, Captain Hook.
有海盗，然后最有名的那个就是虎克船长。Have you read the book?
Well, actually, I read it earlier this year. I saw a writing competition. People had to kind of write a story about Peter Pan or Neverland or something from the book. So I thought, I'll read this book to get ideas.
But did you write a story?
I didn't. I could not think of a good idea, so I wrote something else. But I still enjoyed reading Peter Pan, and that's what this month's story article is.
Oh, but remember, this is the book. So if you know the movie, you might find parts of the story are different.
Yes, that's right. They often change things for the movie version. Well, let's read through day one and find out what happens.
Peter Pan.
Mr. and Mrs. Darling have 3 children, Wendy, Michael, and John. Mrs. Darling tells them stories about Peter Pan.
Peter Pan is a wild boy. He lives in Neverland and never grows up.
She says, Peter sometimes flies close to the Darlings' house to listen to the stories. One day, they nearly see him. He escapes but leaves his shadow behind. Another night, Peter and Tinker Bell, a tiny fairy, come to get his shadow. Wendy helps put it back on.
You should all come with me to Neverland,
Peter tells the children. They agree, and with the help of Tinker Bell's magic powder, they fly away.
Word power!
Children. Children. Ken and Angela have 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. Ken and Angela have 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. Story. Story. In this story, animals talk and wear clothes. In this story, animals talk and wear clothes. Grow up. Grow up. Grow, grew, grown. Mitchell is walking now? Wow, he's growing up really fast. Mitchell is walking now? Wow, he's growing up really fast. Powder. Powder. We can use this powder to change the color of food and drinks. We can use this powder to change the color of food and drinks.
认识字汇
Escape, shadow, fairy,
The story starts by saying Mr. and Mrs. Darling have 3 children, Wendy, Michael, and John. So almost all of the main characters in this story are children. Children is spelled C-H-I-L-D-R-E-N, children. And let's take a closer look at this noun, children, in the first of today's word power word sections. So children is the plural form of the noun child, C-H-I-L-D, child. So children is already plural, so we don't say childs for more than one, and we don't say children's either. So a child is someone's son or daughter, and they can be any age. So I'm 38, I'm still somebody's child. I'm my parents' child. The word children can also mean kind of any young person. Usually we can use children for people under 18, but generally when we say children, we mean people under the age of 13. Now we can also say kids. Kids and children mean the same thing. Here's an example sentence. Ken and Angela have 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. Ken and Angela have 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter.
Children 这个字呢，它是一个复数形哦，代表孩子、子女。那单数怎么办呢？我们把字尾的 R-E-N 去掉，你就会看到 child 这个字呢就是单数了。那例句说到呢 Ken 和 Angela 他们有3个孩子，分别是2个儿子和1个女儿。So the story here starts with the 3 darling children，也就是 Mr. 跟 Mrs. Darling 有3个孩子，分别是 Wendy、Michael 跟 John。That
is right, and we see that Mrs. Darling tells them stories about Peter Pan. So story, S-T-O-R-Y or S-T-O-R-I-E-S in the plural, story or stories. This is another noun and it's our next word power word, so let's find out what it means. A story is anything spoken or written about people's lives and the things that happen to them. So they can be true stories about real people and events, or made-up stories like the one we're reading today with magic and fairies and so on. Now, a story is told for entertainment. So the purpose of a story is to make people laugh, people cry, and we want to get people feeling interested and excited and happy, usually at the ending. So here's an example of story. In this story, animals talk and wear clothes. In this story, animals talk and wear clothes.
Story 这个名词呢，代表故事。那它的复数形怎么办？去掉字尾 y， 再加 ies， 变作 stories。那说故事的说，这个搭配的动词我们要用的是 tell， T-E-L-L。所以说一则故事，我们说的是 tell a story。那例句说呢，在这个故事里面啊，动物们会说话，还会穿衣服。那另外呢 ，story 也有别的意思哦，它可以当做楼层。所以如果你听到一个12-story apartment building 代表这个公寓大楼它是有12层楼高。
Yeah, I'm going to note in that if we do that in British English, there's an E in there, S-T-O-R-E-Y. So do be careful if you see that story.
So in American English, S-T-O-R-Y. In British English?
Yep, S-T-O-R-E-Y. And we might also say, we might also say floors, 12th floor, 12th story.
Right. 那文章这边说到呢 Darling 太太会跟她的孩子们说关于彼得潘的故事。
Yep, okay, so Peter Pan, he is the person in these stories. And this is what Mrs. Darling says. Peter Pan is a wild boy. Now, this means he doesn't really follow the rules.
Nope.
And we'll also find out if you read the book, he lives in a tree and he just has lots of adventures.
所以我们如果用 wild 这个字来形容人的话，代表那个人狂放不羁，很狂野，不受控制。那如果形容动物，同学们都知道 wild animals， 那就是野生动物。所以妈妈这边开始说故事咯，一开始说到彼得潘呢是个狂放不羁的男孩。
Yep, and Mrs. Darling also tells her children he, Peter Pan, lives in Neverland and never grows up, she says. So the name of this land is Neverland, and the word never, which it kind of means the same thing as not, ever. So if we say something never happens, we say it doesn't happen, it won't happen in the future, it never happened in the past, it won't ever change.Never
它是一个频率副词，代表从未、从来不。那跟它同类的字呢还有很多，所以我们先进到 Magic Box 听讲师讲解频率副词的用法。
Magic Box 找亮点。
I have always been planning to catch Peter Pan. 自从彼得潘害我切断了我的手之后我就一直处心积虑的想抓住他。那个小屁孩真是太可恶了，竟然害我堂堂海盗船长变成了 Hook 船长。君子报仇3年不晚，我总有一天一定会报仇的啦。像是呢，我总是在计划，你有时候会打网球，他偶尔会去图书馆，总是有时候偶尔。中文里面很多这种在讲事情发生的频率的词汇，英文里面也有相对应的一票单字咯，它们呢就叫做频率副词。比方说我刚刚说呢 ，I have always been planning， 我一直以来总是在计划，已经好一段时间了。这里的 always 就是频率副词的一个哦。在认识有哪些频率副词之前，我们先了解一下频率副词怎么使用。你只要记得呢，在句子里面呢，它的位置呢是在一般动词之前、be 动词以及助动词之后就可以啦。比方说刚刚说呢，你们下课平常都是打篮球，但是有时候会打网球。You usually play basketball.You sometimes play tennis. 我们呢就放在打球的动词 play 的前面哦。那打完球之后呢，你们总是很饿哦。You are always hungry after a game. 我们呢就放在 be 动词的之后，这个呢就是频率副词在句子里面的位置啦。现在呢，我们知道了在句子里面怎么使用，接下来呢，就来看看有哪一些频率副词吧。刚刚看过了 always 就是总是100%一定会发生的。比方说我 Hook 船长每天起床呢都要优雅的来一杯咖啡哦。I always have a cup of coffee in the morning.少一点点发生的呢，你就可以说 usually 时常。I usually have my coffee with milk. 我通常呢会加牛奶，但是呢可能1个礼拜里面有1-2天是没有加牛奶的，喝黑咖啡了。I often read the newspaper while drinking my coffee. 我在喝咖啡的时候呢，经常呢会读一下报纸。经常呢，我们就用这个字 often， 就表示呢10次里面大概有6次会这样做。那再少一点呢，我们就可以使用 sometimes。sometimes 就是有时候。I sometimes have my coffee with a piece of cheesecake. 我有时候喝咖啡呢会配这个 cheesecake 起司蛋糕。Sometimes 就是一半一半，有时候。更少发生的事情我们就可以使用 seldom， 中文呢就翻译为偶尔，偶一为之不是很常发生的事情。I seldom have 2 cups of coffee in the morning. 我偶尔呢早上会喝2杯咖啡。最后不曾发生的事情呢就是 never。I never drink my coffee with sugar. 我从来不加糖的0%。OK， 不曾发生的就是 never。这些呢就是频率副词，希望你也记起来喽。
好啦，所以住在 Neverland 梦幻岛的彼得潘有什么特别的地方呢？ He never grows up.
That is right. Now, grow up, G-R-O-W, and then up, U-P, grow up. This is a phrasal verb. And remember, with phrasal verbs, you can change the form of the verb. So it can be grows up, growing up, grew up, grown up, but the up part won't change. That will always stay the same. Now, grow up is our next word power, so let's find out what it means. To grow up means to stop being a child and become an adult. And we can also say become a grown up. Grown up can also mean an adult when it's used as a noun. So you can grow up, and this can mean your body changing from a child's body into an adult's body, but growing up also means your mind changes. you become more responsible, more independent, and you start thinking and living in a different way. Now, Peter Pan, he stays a child. He never grows up. Here's an example of grow up as a phrasal verb. Mitchell is walking now? Wow, he's growing up really fast. Mitchell is walking now? Wow, he's growing up really fast.
Grow 这个动词呢，它是生长的意思。那这个片语 grow up 代表长大。那 grow 这个动词要注意哦，它的三态是不规则变化，分别是 grow、grew 跟 grown。那刚刚 Pat 有提到的 a grown up 就是成人，也可以用哪个字来说 an adult， 或是有人会发音 an adult 也可以。那例句说到 Mitchell 现在会走路了，哇，他长大的好快。So back to the story, Peter Pan never grows up. 他从来不长大。Is it only a story told by Mrs. Darling?
Well, he's also real. So he's kind of a story in a story. But in this story, he's a real boy. The article says, Peter sometimes flies close to the Darling's house to listen to the stories. Now, in the book, Peter really loves stories about himself. He loves hearing, oh, I'm so brave, I'm so great, I do all this cool stuff. Now, in the article, we use the word sometimes. Peter sometimes comes there to listen. And this means not always, but maybe once or maybe twice a week. It's not uncommon, it's not rare, but it's not all the time every day.
Sometimes 也是一个频率副词哦。那我们中文的解释是有时候，那大约是50%的频率。那这边说到呢 ，Peter Pan 它是真实存在的，有时候还会飞来听 Darling 太太说故事。
Now the story and the action really starts. It says, one day they nearly see him. Now, we use one day often in stories, and it kind of means the exact date or day isn't important. All we need to know is it's this day when things begin to happen.
One day 就是有一天，那有一天怎么样呢？他们差点就要看到他了，差点就要看到彼得潘 ，so they actually don't know that Peter Pan exists.
I guess it's hard because if you're a child and your mum tells you a story, you probably think it's real, right? So maybe they do think he's real, maybe they're not sure, but they nearly see him, so they think, was that him?
Yeah.
But we see that on that day, he, Peter, escapes, but leaves his shadow behind.
Ooh, shadow.
Yes. So to escape means to get away from something dangerous, something scary, or just something that's bad. So Peter escapes, but he leaves his shadow. And your shadow is the dark shape that you make when your body blocks the light. So if I've got a light there, the shadow is behind me. Now, of course, you can't really lose your shadow, but in this story, where there's quite a bit of magic and kind of stuff like that going on, yeah, you can lose a shadow.
那我们先说，我们刚刚在这个句子当中看到 escape 这个动词，它是逃离。那它也可以当名词用，比如说现在很红的密室逃脱，那就叫做 escape room。那还有一个说法叫做 a narrow escape， 这什么意思呢？也就是在千钧一发之际脱困，死里逃生。For example, the man had a narrow escape when his scooter crashed. 男人在车祸当中死里逃生。那回到文章，彼得潘虽然逃走了，但他留下 shadow 影子。And what happens next?
We see that another night, Peter and Tinkerbell, a tiny fairy, come to get his shadow. So fairies are seen in many stories, some for children, also for adults, and fairies are almost always very small people, usually with kind of butterfly-like wings on them, and they can kind of do magic and make things happen.
And they look cute.
Usually.
Fairy 这个名词是小精灵、小仙子，所以文章说到呢，另一天晚上 Peter 和奇妙仙子过来，要干嘛呢？拿回他的影子。
Yeah. Now next we see Wendy helps put it, the shadow, back on. Now if you read the book or see the movie, she uses a needle to sew it back on. So you can see this story has a lot of unusual things in it.
So Wendy, one of their children, helped Peter.
Yes.
那他是用针线将彼得潘的影子缝回去的。
Yeah. So Peter quite likes the darling children, and we see that you should all come with me to Neverland, Peter tells the children. So he's like saying, hey, you guys want to see what I do? You want to come and play with me? And here we use all to mean all three children. Wendy helped him, but Peter means Wendy, Michael, and John as well. You can all come.
所以 Peter 这边对3个小孩子说，你们全部都应该跟我回到 Neverland 去。So Peter is kind of proud and generous?
A little bit. He can sometimes be selfish if it's his stuff. He doesn't really think. All he thinks is, what's my next fun thing? You should do this. Let's not worry about the consequences.
Oh.
He's a boy.
Yeah, he's a boy, and he's a wild boy.
Yes.
So do they go with Peter?
Well, we see that they, that's the darling children, agree, and with the help of Tinkerbell's magic powder, they fly away. Now we have one more power word to look at here. It's the noun powder, P-O-W-D-E-R. P-O-W-D-E-R, powder. So powder is anything that's made up of lots of very, very small, very, very dry pieces. So think of the flour you put in bread, or dust in a room, or very small pieces of sugar or chocolate you might put on top of a cake. In our story, it's a magic powder. So we're not sure what it really is, but we know it can make people fly. Here's another example. We can use this powder to change the color of food and drinks. We can use this powder to change the color of food and drinks.
Powder 这个名词呢是粉末的意思。那其实我们生活中很容易接触到这个东西，比如说 washing powder 洗衣粉，或是你烘焙要用的 baking powder 泡打粉也是一种，或者是女生化妆的时候用的蜜粉也叫做 powder。那例句说呢，我们可以用这个粉末来改变食物和饮料的颜色。那文章最后啊，孩子们同意跟彼得潘回去。那在奇妙仙子的神奇粉末帮助下，他们一起飞回去 Neverland。
Yep, and we will see what they do in Neverland in day 2, but for now, let's go to our review time activity.
Wait for it. It's review time. 复习时间到喽。
Okay, so one of our power words today was story.
Story,
okay,
yeah.
Yep, so let's see if we can tell a story, but we will tell this story one word at a time.
哦，所以一次一个人讲一个字，然后我们要讲一个故事。
Right, and if we can try and use the other word powers, so children, grow up, powder, we'll try and see if we can get them in our story. So,
Okay.
I'll start then. David
Is
a
child
and
he
wants
some
powder
for
his
grandchildren.
so
He
goes
to
the
shop
and
buy
some
powder.
the
Clerk,
says
maybe
you
should
grow
up.
before
You
have
grandchildren.
and that's the end of the story. And I think we kind of we fixed the ending there.
Yeah.
All right, so that is an example of a story using our power words. Thank you for watching. Join us again tomorrow for part 2 of Peter Pan. See you then. Bye for now.
Bye.
Peter Pan.
Mr. and Mrs. Darling have 3 children, Wendy, Michael, and John. Mrs. Darling tells them stories about Peter Pan.
Peter Pan is a wild boy. He lives in Neverland and never grows up.
She says, Peter sometimes flies close to the Darlings' house to listen to the stories. One day, they nearly see him. He escapes but leaves his shadow behind. Another night, Peter and Tinkerbell, a tiny fairy, come to get his shadow. Wendy helps put it back on.
You should all come with me to Neverland.
Peter tells the children. They agree, and with the help of Tinkerbell's magic powder, they fly away.
Word power!
Children. Children. Ken and Angela have 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. Ken and Angela have 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. Story. Story. In this story, animals talk and wear clothes. In this story, animals talk and wear clothes. Grow up. Grow up. Grow, grew, grown. Mitchell is walking now? Wow, he's growing up really fast. Mitchell is walking now? Wow, he's growing up really fast. Powder. Powder. We can use this powder to change the color of food and drinks. We can use this powder to change the color of food and drinks.
认识字汇
Escape. Shadow. Fairy.